Hello! God, that's an old timetable. It still has Sherlock Holmes on it. How are we doing? Must remember to... I'll write that on my... Cool. That brings my to-do list to about 40 things. How are we doing? Sherlock Holmes is dead. Your friend is dead. To ashes. How was Akira and Ajib and a lurking Christie? Christie doesn't have to answer. They're lurking. Good riddance. One day we will play a good Sherlock Holmes game. I don't own any. But one day. Thank you for saying it like Jack. That's exactly what you were thinking. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Elizabeth. Ad for a war game that has the tagline, "There's a soldier in all of us," and then an ad to join the British Army. Oh, good. Well, at least it's not the Dutch Army. Apparently Chief gets a lot of those. One day we'll play a good Cthulhu game. I was rather hoping to do 2 in 1, but that didn't work. Hello! How's Meese? I meant to say, congrats on doing the frog. The frog is tricky. It's quite a lot of awkward bits and bobs in it, but yeah, particularly if you don't like doing small things. Tired, so tired. Oh no. But now you have yellow. Didn't get one this time, but usually. Also, you're okay. Had a nightmare earlier, but the first time you're able to realize it was a nightmare and willed yourself awake. Ooh, nice. I've never done that before. Impressive. Kiro is powerful. Good Forgs. Butchered and ground up a deer your dad shot today and gifted you. Came home and found a fantastic oil paint streamer you've already learned a lot from. Ooh, nice. Christie's getting more powerful with art. Frog's horrible and you have to make more. Well, I added colour changes. If you want that pattern as well, to make it even worse. I decided to do it in blobs, which is awful for crochet. There's like 30 colour changes. Worked out this morning, then worked on Dishonored RPG stuff for several hours. That's fair. Let's get music up. I need to fix that. The opening guitar's out of tune. It's been annoying me for 17 other streams. Congratulations, are so good. Yeah, I started doing another one, and I tried a color change thing where you sort of change the color in half a row so that it doesn't look like you've just suddenly changed in the middle of a spiral. And it works really well. It looks really, really good. But also, you try bloody crocheting into the previous row after you've done that. It's impossible. It's so tight. I need to work out a way of loosening that. Basically deleted the entire campaign from the book at this point. Hooray! You've done what, was it the Rolling Stones used to do? Where they used to just play a Beatles song for like 3 hours, and by the end of it, they would have written something completely original. Yeah. We can't avoid it any longer. There's a draw-through happening. Yes, there is. Let me show you what greeted me when I opened up the, thing. Opened up the file. Exciting, yeah. Exciting times. I like friends getting excited about things. Yeah. So we're back. We're back in Final Fantasy IX, or Final Fantasy IX 2, as I put it, because the first story's done. We're doing a new one. Forg. I said you, Forg. You did a lot better than my one. I mean, you did the correct stitch for a start. Also, I found out on my 3rd one that I was doing the eyebrows wrong, so... I forgot you're supposed to do a chain stitch at the end of it to lock it in. Oh, the amount of times I've had to undo things. He looks real good. Miss is doing real good stuff. Also, colourful sock. I also found a good pattern for crochet socks, so I'm gonna try that. The frog was started 4 times. Only 4! You did better than me. Last one I did, I think I undid like 7 times. Kept going well. It's them! It's Quimch. I realised that the book campaign was taking place at a different time than you realised, which is even dumber. Then your brain was like, okay, what if you made the campaign take place at the most miserable time in the timeline? Which is saying something about Dishonored. And you restarted from there. Nice. Frog fits so perfectly on the glass. I wanted to show off their legs. So I thought we'll put them on a transparent thing. But yeah, I'm enjoying crochet at the moment, apart from trying to get through this bloody... I think I'm doing it wrong. I must be doing it wrong. That can't be something people do willingly. So I'll have to look into that. Try and work out a way of doing it without it being... basically like having to sew with a normal needle. Good Forgs. Speaking of Forgs, Final Fantasy IX. So, quick recap as the story so far. Or the story so far as it will be relevant in future. Part 1 was all about a queen of a city, Queen Helga, getting a bit mad with power after meeting somebody called Mr. Swan, mysterious person from lands unknown, who taught her about various magical weaponry, including the manufacture of black mages and the extraction of summoned huge monster creatures from various stones, and her child, who turns out to be an orphan from a shipwreck coming from a faraway village of summoners. And the first story was basically about trying to stop her from genociding any more kingdoms around the world, because she managed to do 2 and a half, I guess. Eidolons, exactly, yes. Which apparently is a word. I didn't know it was a word. I thought it was just made up for this game. Go for the middle of the Rat Plague. Middle of the reign of the Lord Regent. Time, baby. Yeah. Bad times. So yeah. So we sorted that, and by we sorted that, I mean Mr. Swan sorted that by killing the Queen, basically, by turning her weapons against her. And so now we're left with Mr. Swan, who has control of quite a lot of big, powerful monsters, and is not really actively destroying anything. They did destroy Alexandria, but that wasn't really the point. They wanted to try and get another big Eidolon, but it didn't work, because they managed to control the Eidolons using a big eye in the sky, which we don't really know anything about at the moment. There's just a big eye that appears in the sky occasionally. But someone stopped it from actually stealing a new Eidolon. Some weird, mysterious person who we have yet to know anything about. Eidolon, exactly. As opposed to active off. I'm getting distracted by very round frog. There is very round frog. Very cute. So that's our sort of issue at the moment, is there's this mysterious person, Mr. Swan, who's going around and collecting very, very powerful monsters, and we don't really know what for, we don't know where they've come from, what their intentions are. It's all a bit confusing. Ooh, Eidolon, I see. Oodle Eidolon. What a golly, what a day. Yes, yeah, they're the summons in this game. You summon huge monsters that can big enough to like eat cities and stuff. Now, our main characters... Oh, sorry, another subplot that's happening here, which one would argue is kind of a more compelling character plot, is the black mages that are being manufactured. One of them is our party member, and they basically just wanted to see a play at the beginning of this and got roped into this whole disaster, and then discovered, subsequently, that their species is manufactured, and that they are probably also manufactured, not entirely certain. Vivi, baby Vivi. Master baby Vivi. And they're having an existential crisis. However, they have also discovered that these things are manufactured as just sort of like puppets to kill, but at some point, some of them just suddenly gain sentience. They suddenly gain a self-awareness and are like, oh crap, I don't like this, and run away. And a bunch of them have run away to a different continent to hide in a forest so that they can just live out their lives in a forest. Whereupon they discovered that they have a very limited lifespan, about a year or so. And Vivi didn't take kindly to that either. Discovering that and all that sort of thing. So yeah, Vivi's got that whole thing going on. And we've just discovered, after discovering all of this sort of stuff, we just discovered that Mr. Swan, when he attacked Alexandria, was seen with a bunch of black mages. And Vivi's not happy about that, because the black mages either got destroyed working with Queen Helga, or were in the forest. So either more came from somewhere, or the ones who were living in the forest... Oh no, yeah. It's presumed the ones who were living with the forest joined with Mr. Swan because they were heard speaking, which is a bad sign. The sentient ones have chosen to join Mr. Swan, so that's kind of where we're going now, is to try and head to where the Black Mages were to see what the hell's going on with them. Our characters, just as a quick reminder, are Master Baby Vivi, of course. There's the Princess Zorlorolda, or Butterknife. There's Frickin' Frack, whose theme music is playing right now. Yeah, we're going to the Black Mage Village. Yeah, there's Princess Zorlorolda, who is soon to be Queen Zorlorolda after the Queen died. There's Rusty, her faithful knight, who's been trying to protect her a little bit blindly, but is starting to become self-aware of things. There's Nox, who's the rat dragoon, who was sworn protector and soldier of Burmecia, which is a shame because that's dead. Who's spent 5 years looking for her lost husband, only to find out that he has amnesia and has no memory of her. Then there's... who else is there? Oh, Simeon. There's Simeon, who is a thief who was tasked with stealing the princess at the beginning of the story, and since then has just been sort of like going on this adventure trying to protect her, and has been getting more and more attached to her, and got beaten as a child, and calls that family. He's got issues. Then there's Quimch, Exhibit A, who is hungry. And the best. They're looking for food. They're traveling the world to get food. Because there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of food in the world that they haven't tasted yet. Always hungry. There is also Knuckles from Van Sonic, who is a bounty hunter who was originally tasked with hunting down the princess, but subsequently just sort of got sidelined with his rivalry with Simeon, which Simeon doesn't even realize there is a rivalry. And ended up joining us because Simeon said, "Hey, what's your deal with like being this kind of lone wolf cool guy? Don't you have friends?" And he's like, "I don't need friends." I was like, "You should have friends. Join us." And he did for some reason. And there's also the other summoner, Little Betty, I believe her name is, and her Moogle friend Pistachio. Both of them are, I think, 6 years old, and she is the last surviving summoner of the Summoner Village, with the exception of Princess Orloralda, who was shipwrecked from there as a child. And yeah, her little Moogle friend Pistachio, who's very cute. So they're like the main group. There's also King Fly of Lindblom, who was, when we met him originally, an insect, an oglop, because he had been cursed to turn into an insect by his wife because he was cheating on her. And she stole the airship and ran away. We tried to turn him back into a human, I think, in the last stream, and we accidentally turned him into a frog. So he's a frog now. Yeah, there's King Fly. King Regent Fly, or whatever his name is. Good for her, yes. So, and she... another thing we did is we went to a tree that was producing mist. Now, mist is the weird substance all over the world that produces monsters. And we killed the thing in the tree that was making the mist. We don't know why it was making mist. It tried to explain something, but basically it said I didn't want to make the mist, that's just a byproduct of what it was doing. Whatever that is. But we have now stopped the mist, and that's an issue because basically all machines run on mist. The only machine that doesn't run on mist was stolen by the Queen and flown away. So we can't really go look for her at the moment because we don't really have anything to do that. But there is one thing we do have, and that's where we're going to go now. Also, just before I start, I know it's been 20 minutes and we haven't drawn anything, but you know, we can admire Quimch for longer. A few things to note. Number one, I haven't drawn these characters for a month, so I apologize for how long it takes for me to draw any of them. He's Quimch. And secondly, for the first time in a couple of months, I can quite honestly, hand on my heart, say I haven't drawn anything today. So it's been a while. Yeah, I haven't drawn it. Oh, I need to update that because it's not blob anymore. Let me just manually. There we go. It's got a name. It's Flynn now. So yes. So what explicitly happened in the last stream? Let's do that. Quite a lot by the looks of it. Oh yeah, so Alexandria was under attack from Mr. Swan and his horrible mist monsters. This is Jesse. Oh, James. Did I mention James? Yeah, I mentioned James. How dare you still call him Blob? I know. Speaking of that tree, told your brother there's something else, someone else out there who also does what you do every time you fight that boss, which is setting it on fire and getting mustard bombed in the face. And he lost it. I was like, no, don't do that. It's a quick way to death. It's a bad thing to do, but it's the thing you instinctively do. There's a tree, set it on fire. It's what you do. It's what I do when I go in a forest. So yes, Jessie's in charge of the army of Alexandria, and she was an antagonist when Alexandria was our enemy, but then sort of turned around when it was like, yeah, actually no, the queen's nuts. And so they had a little thing. James, oh, that's another thing to explain. Trance. In times of very heightened emotions, a person can go into a trance state where they become more powerful and glow pink. And James did this when fighting with Jesse because he might be in love with Jesse. Then there's whatever this is. Oh yes, stones. Summoners, Princess Zorla and Betty have stones, which glue when the attack was happening. Glowed. And there was a connection, and that helped summon a big old monster to fight the monster that was attacking Alexandria. It's called Alexander. That's what you do as a tree, set it on fire. That's what I do every time I go into a forest. Accurate. I get lost in forests quite easily. Yeah, so to protect Alexandria, big old Alexander was summoned. Yeah, summoners get the ability to summon Eidolons from special jewels, and when they turn 16, they get access to their sort of like, not assigned summon, but like a summon that's sort of destined to protect them, as it were. And this is Princess Zorla's, because it was her 16th birthday at the beginning of the story. Unfortunately, she had all of her stuff stolen from her by the Queen before that could all really happen. But now, yes, to fight Bahamut, who was stolen by Mr. Swan during the fight by the tree. I forgot about that. Lord Quimch. This was just a statue, and I was like, oh, it's Lord Quimch. Anyway, Mr. Swan's like, what are you doing? This is my... Oh, no, Mr. Swan was like, aha, excellent. Alexander, we meet at last. Finally. And then he does the whole thing with the eye, or he tries to do the whole thing with the eye. By the looks of it, there's the eye. Tries to do the thing with the eye and take control of Alexander. However, we cut to Goldo. Apparently we called him. We cut to Goldo, who's just in a mysterious room somewhere. Don't know where this is. Saying, no, Mr. Swan, you've gone too far. This is enough. I'm going to stop you. And then the eye goes away, and Mr. Swan's like, what? How dare? I don't remember Goldo at all. That's fine. You probably still won't by the end of the game, but... Actually, in terms of letters in the name, you're not far off. But anyway. So this all happens, and Simeon's like, I need to go protect the princess. And everyone's like, we all came here to protect the princess. He's like, no, I've got to do it. Because story reasons. Oh yeah, that's it. And Knuckles is like, he talks about like love and friendship and so on and so forth. And Knuckles is like, I'm going to go be sick. Oh, that was Toast. Toast is a Moogle who is supposed to be in charge of the postal system for the Moogles, but that's broken because they used all of the lubricating fluid that runs the machines in the postal system as hair gel. And now they're in trouble. Muffin and Toast, and there's Muffin. Muffin is a travelling Moogle. They travel around and sell you muffins and various baked goods in exchange for money to help keep them travelling. Kind of an ideal life, really. Ever since we killed the mystery and the queen dies, the story kind of goes off the rails and becomes another story entirely. Exactly. So welcome to Final Fantasy IX 2. So yeah, then there's some stuff happening, and Simeon's like, "Oh, you're here," and they fall off a thing. But then they get caught and they get saved, and it's all good and fine and grand. But the city does get destroyed. Simeon wakes up like, I thought it was Waka for a second. This is March. March is the most competent person in this story. Yeah, Simeon wakes up a few days later in Lindblom, the other big city. The other big city still left. And therein they discover this is fly when they were an insect. They discover that the princess, where are we? Yes, the princess has lost her voice. The trauma of seeing her hometown destroyed, and everything that happened with the summons and all that sort of stuff. She can no longer speak, which is a bit of an issue. Simeon's not happy about this because he likes the sound of her singing. So yeah, bad stuff. We then go on a little side quest. Oh, you're right there. Why are you down there? I must have dragged it somehow. We go on a side quest to try and turn the king back into a human so that he can make a ship for us to explore the world freely, to try and find out what's going on with everything. Vivi gets mad upon discovering that black mages that can talk are working with Mr. Swan. He's like, why are they doing that? And we try and turn the king into a human, but we turn him into a frog, and he's not too happy about it. So he's like, screw it, I've got a boat, we're going to use that. So we're going to go on a boat. We're going to go on a boat trip. Half hour later, we have recapped basically everything we need to know for the rest of the story. Is there anything left? Is there anything that's going to be relevant that is worth mentioning? Simeon's an orphan. He doesn't know where he came from. All he remembers is a blue light, and he tried to find it, and he couldn't, because it's a blue light. How the hell do you find that? What else? It feels like spoilers to say that immediately after saying what's relevant for the rest of the story, but honestly, it's a Final Fantasy game. We've got like Chekhov's orphan. It's gonna be mentioned. Vivi's a baby. Vivi's a baby whose granddad recently died. Now, given that Vivi was manufactured, we're not entirely sure who his granddad is, but it is a thing. Simeon could indeed do that. The Orphanage of Plot Convenience. Are we going to have an orphanage of plot confusion? Not really, no. We're going to have an orphanage of plot confusion, maybe. It's not really an orphanage. Anyway, he's an orphan. Yes. And then we find Quimch in the city being tricked by an unscrupulous pickle saleswoman into eating pickles without paying for them, because it perfectly understandably did not realize it needed to be paid for, because they said, do you want to try one? You don't say that. You don't say, do you want to try one, if they're not free. Yeah, exactly. Cancel pickle lady. I forgot about that. Your eyes are tired. Hello again. Hi, Christine. Probably not a big deal for the Drawthrough, because of the disconnect, stress, despair. I thought I said disrepair. Butterknife is now under. She has trouble concentrating in battle, and there's a very good chance she will not be able to fight at all. Also, her trance bar is completely gone. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Kira pointed that out. It's like, oh, she doesn't have trance at all. Because trance is never useful in It's useful when it happens, but you can never plan it. He says, knowing somebody did a challenge run of Final Fantasy IX only using trance. Insane. I think they recently finished doing the Final Fantasy VII limit break only. Anywho, yes, we can now continue. So we've saved Quimch from the horrors of the pickle lady. I don't actually need to pick a colour, do I? No. Quimch did nothing wrong. I think you took a photo of your screen as proof. Nice. I admire the evidence-based approach. I mean, I trust you, don't worry. Anyway, so we go to, I believe the name of the ship is the Blue Nautilus. Don't get attached, we're only going to be on it for like 2 streams. Final Fantasy games, you get through modes of transport like bloody cheese. I don't know why I said cheese. I get through a lot of cheese. So yes, we get to the Blue Nautilus, which is a ship. a ship, water ship, down. Cheese grommet. I actually wrote a piece of music in between streams that I thought, oh, that sounds a bit like it could be a Jesse track, a track for Jesse. And then I realised that Jesse's not in the story anymore, really. Anyway, so we get on the ship, and we discover that the King Frog, has enlisted the help of March to steer it and look after it while we're not there, because apparently nobody understands that March would actually be competent doing things. But hey, they're coming along, so that's nice. At least with March at the steer, the ship won't go down. That is true. It does not go down. Once again, March does good. Thanks, March. March. Oh yeah, everyone's got big boots. Looks like I've given him a butt. I was supposed to be drawing the sort of loincloth thing he's got on. So yeah, March is steering the ship and allowing us to go places. There's a fun thing actually, which is that, well, I guess we'll talk about that when we get there. You're telling me March does not have a butt. I have not looked. March may have a butt. He has a butt. Well, we have the concept art. Let's have a look. None of these are from the side. We've got fluffy cuffs. We've got little gloves. He's got fluffy gloves, which I will give them now, because we're heading north, where it can get cold. I mean, well, it's not cold where we're going because there's a desert, but we will eventually go places where it's cold. So, March plans ahead. What are those feet? I was looking at those as well. I think this has been poorly cropped or something. Because like it's missing a hand as well. So I think maybe there were soles to these shoes, but even then it still looks a bit weird. The whole anatomy of this is a bit... This is better. This is a good one. It's true, your save file is currently in the snowy area. I'm not too far ahead of that myself, but it's been like 2 months since I played this bit of the game, so apologies if I forget anything. So yeah, we get on the boat, and the king's here. King Forg. And he's like, we shall make our way to this strange continent of which you speak. I can draw, it's fine. Have I mentioned I haven't drawn anything today? You think you're past that area? You mentioned that you'd done the boss of the area, so... After that, but only just. Bet coming up, there's one of your most favourite things ever in this game. I think I know what you're talking about, and there's... Well, if you're talking about there's a particular line that is one of my favourite lines in the game. And I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I do it justice. So completely forgotten about till I did my playthrough. But we're coming up to that. A couple of streams. We'll get there. Anyway, so yeah, the frog's there. And is talking to Simeon and is like, cool, yeah, we're going to go to this place. I'm just using this as a bit of an excuse to practice drawing the characters again. Oh, I'm never going to know how to draw Simeon. He's behind some boxes. And he has a ponytail. It's very important to the plot. He also has a monkey tail, which I keep forgetting to draw. It's here. But do you know who else is behind a box? Well, they're in front of it from our perspective. It's Quimch, because we're talking to the king, and the king's saying all the important things about where we need to go and what we need to do and how the ship works and who's going to look after the ship when we're out and doing things and all this sort of stuff. And Quimch is looking over their shoulder going, that's a frog. A frog's talking. Should I eat it? Probably shouldn't eat it. It can talk. But it's a frog. Frogs taste great. Quimch is having existential crisis about eating talking frog. Basically. Yeah, exactly. You need this frog, Quimch. Don't think much will be lost if you do. Alas, the story requires this character to live. Because without stressing too much, half of our main characters will die without him. Spoilers. Yes. Just you, where like a tiny floating elephant or something's in the game, you're out. How does this work? Anyway, so we get on the boat and we sail across the seas. We're on a boat, actually. We continue being on the boat, and March sails us across the seas. Water splashing around us, clouds in the air. It's a lovely day. We cannot die yet, or we're doomed. Well, half of us are doomed. Maybe later, exactly. Who exactly would be doomed? That's up to you. You're okay with Simeon being doomed? Simeon, I think, is the only one who is guaranteed not doomed. Sorry, Jim. Yeah, boo indeed. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it is Simeon is the only one. I don't know if anyone's guaranteed doomed. Yeah, we'll get to that. Not too long, to be honest. So yes, we go to the that's just rude, yes. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this. Gonna have to go through some stuff. Memories, eh? That's Helga. So it's after that? Yes, it's after this. Where we go to... Oh yeah, Quimch and Vivi are married. That's just the thing. Pure technicality. Baby marriage. They just needed a way to get through somewhere, and only married people could, so they got married. It's you know, Vegas marriage, who cares? Rally ho! Rally ho! Sorry, gotta say it in the right voice. Yeah, so we go back to the Black Mage Village and we have a little chat with the only person still there. And Viva's grump. He's like, what's going on? Where's everybody? Why are they doing this? I don't understand. You had a happy life here and you were away from people. Why did you give it up? Why are you joining the enemy? And the only one still left. Mr. 734 or whatever. Oh no, number 47. I think that's what we agreed. This is number 47. They just named themselves numbers because that's what they were named before when they were just soldiers. So they're like, good as any name, I suppose. Much too cheerful music for Vivi's continued existential dread. Anyway, so number 47 refuses to tell Vivi where they've gone because that'd be betraying their trust. However, does inform them of why they went, and that is that Mr. Swan swanned in and said, "Hey everybody, how you all doing? Now, I know you only live for a year, and you're gonna stop at some point." That's what they call their dyings, just stopping. Guess who knows how to make you guys, and guess who knows how to make you live longer? That's right, you'll come and follow me, and you don't have to stop. So like, life blackmail? Do you not want to die? Work for me. So that's why they've all gone off, because they're worried about stopping, i.e. dying. Because it just happens one day. There's no real sign that it's going to happen. It's about a year of sentience and then boom. Well, not sentience, a year of activation. Yeah. And they knew they couldn't really trust him. They're not stupid. But they also knew that the stoppings are going to happen, and they don't really have any better options, so might as well. And 47, I can't remember why 47 stayed behind. I think it was to look after the graves of those who had stopped. It's raining very heavily outside now. This has been a continuing theme of the last couple of weeks of streaming. A lot of rain. We're getting the last 3 years of rain in one consecutive month. But yeah, so 47 stay behind. A couple of others stay behind too, we'll get to them. But yeah, so a little explanation, and VVV's like, this is not right, this is not fair. And they're like, well, you know, they're afraid. They're afraid of dying. You know, what would you do to stay alive? And VVV's like, not to kill other people. I was like, yeah, you got a good point. You're a good one, kid. Stumpy, Stumpy. He's mad. And 47's like, okay, you actually seem good. I'll let you know where they went. Mr. Swan has some sort of base in the desert somewhere. There's these big, like, sand whirlpools, a bit like when we saw the antlion in Clara. There's a bunch of those in the desert. One of those has a base in it, and that's where they've gone. So if you want to go track them down and try and convince them otherwise, that's where they are. And it's at that point we hear a couple of voices going, "Oh my god!" There! And we go and see what happened. The desert. Oh yes. And what happened was, a literal baby. So in a little hut in the Black Mage village, a couple of black mages found a chocobo egg, and they were looking after it because they're like, we don't really know what this is. What's this weird thing? I think we're supposed to keep it warm and like straw and stuff. What's happening? And they stayed behind to make sure that they looked after the egg. And they're like, oh my god, it hatched. What do we do now? And they're very happy that they've successfully brought life into the world. It's like, yeah! We've got a chocobo. What would we call them? Actually, what do we call them? There you go. That's a legitimate question. Doesn't matter, they're probably not going to be brought up again in the story, but they get named, so... Hang on a minute. Can't laugh, there we go. Something was missing. So yeah, as if like directly antithetical to what the other black mages have done, which has gone off and gone to fight in order to try and extend their own lives, these ones stayed behind and managed to bring life to the world by helping a little bab get hatched. As if the game is subtly reminding you with a brick that life goes on after you, and subsequent life is important. Choco baby. Bob. That is great, because you are correct. In the game, they are called Bobby. Which is close. Why am I drawing? Let's just choose. Doesn't matter. So it's a weird reference. Their full name in the game is Bobby Corwin, I believe. Which is a weird thing, but I'm fine with Chocolate Bob. Chocolate Bob's good. Bob. Bob. But the reason they're called Bobby Corwin is a reference to Final Fantasy V, I think, where the Chocobo in that's called Boko. And the idea is that a shortening of Bobby Corwin will be Boko. But yeah, Bob. Good job. They're called Bob. The second name in the game that is also the same as the the original. Alongside Vivi. Vivi and Bob. They're special, you know. It's Bob now, exactly. Also, I didn't know how to draw a baby chocobo, and I just realised as I was doing it. So it's just got sort of like a long floof. Big eyes, long floof. So yeah, these two now have to work out how to look after a baby chocobo. Good luck to them. Right, so we now know that they have gone to some place in the desert. So we can go to some place in the desert. Still amazed we got Beatrix in this game, even though it's not the same Beatrix as Final Fantasy IX. Yes, we have a Beatrix. Yes, so we go to a desert, and in the desert there is, as specified, a bunch of big old sort of sand whirlpools. And most of them have antlines in them, big old creatures. I think there's like a kind of big old root system or something in the middle to sort of tell you that this is a place of interest or whatever. The roots of the massive tree, what we killed the inside of, which extend all throughout the world. And this is around like some mountain ranges or whatever. Look at this amazing picture of what I've drawn. I should be a landscape painter. Yeah, and we go to these places, and 3 of them are antline attacks, but one of them is the thing. So we go into one of them, which is the thing. And we wake up in a prison cell. That went well. That was a good circle. It's also cylindrical, so it might be an elevator. And by we, and by a, what I mean is we each and several. So I think everybody's in their own. Well, they might not all be in their own. No, I think they are. I think they're all in their own little prison cells. Because it turns out that this base has like an early warning security system, and we went into the front door and we got knocked out, and now we're in prison. It's very fun music for being in prison. So yeah, good decisions. We've made good decisions. Wouldn't change one of them. Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo-doo. Can't remember if Better Knife says shares the shell. Shares the cell with James or Simeon, or if she's all alone too. But yeah, it is essentially all in their own cell. I think. Yeah, kind of. No, there is one other. There is a connection, I believe. I think there are shared cells in some sense, but for the sake of argument, generally, they're all in their own cell. But there is an overlap, which we will see in a sec. But, so what's going on? Well, we're here. We've been trapped already. We've just got here. We're really bad at our jobs. I'm really bad at mine. I can't draw. Surely everything will be fine. It'll be grand. So, we hear over a sort of tannoy system. Because that exists in his place. We hear the voice of Mr. Swan. As we wake up, Mr. Swan's like, aha! I see you finally awakened. Awakened, past tense. Intruding into my home, honestly. Terrible, frankly. Surprised I've been merciful enough not to kill you immediately. And Simeon's not happy about this. They're like, what? What are you doing? Where is everybody? Where's Better Knife? And Mr. Swan's like, oh, they're fine. They're in cells much like yours. Don't worry about it. Well, I mean, I say don't worry about it. You are going to have to do everything I say, otherwise I will kill them. And Simeon's like, I'm never gonna do what you say. You're come here and say that to my face. And Mr. Swan says, no need. I'm not gonna do anything as crass as kill you myself. And then is revealed. I'm gonna move you slightly to the side, Simeon. Hope you don't mind. One of the reasons this place is circular is because there's a big, like, iris floor. Like this. Which opens up. And reveals magma underneath, boiling magma, which I do not know how to accurately show on stream. Without using color, which I can't because I have fixed colors. It's like, I don't even have to come see you in order to kill you all. I could just open the floors to your cells and you'll all die immediately. Isn't that marvelous? So, yeah, they're all in a bit of a pickle. The pickle being that they're in the lair of a Bond villain, apparently. I don't expect you to talk, Mr. Bond. I expect myself to talk and hear the sound of my own voice. So yeah, bad stuff. But Mr. Swan says, well, I'm a reasonable person. You see, I have a thing that needs doing. I have a task that needs to be done that I can't exactly do myself because it's very dangerous and I'm not expendable. So, and also my new friends in the form of the Black Mages, they also can't manage this because they're rather magic oriented and this is a thing that can't be done with magic. So I'm gonna need to enlist the help of some of you lot to go and run a little errand for me. And if you successfully do that, then I'll happily release you all and life will be grand. Oh yeah, I don't have a transport, yeah. Don't mind the names, you got them all wrong. Yeah, there's a weird glitch sometimes in the game where it's like, you know, Quimch is called Queen, or it's all strange. So yeah, speaking of existential blackmail, we now just have standard blackmail. Well, not really blackmail, but standard like threats. Hey, if you don't do the thing I want you to do, I will kill you. And I will kill your friends. And if you don't come back in a specific amount of time, I will also kill them. It's all good fun. Don't forget the tail. Looking a bit stockier than usual there, Simeon. It's fine, I'm getting used to it. He's not joking, he will kill them. Mr. Swan is a psychopath. He's a stylish man, but he's a psychopath. Yeah, so we have a little chat. However, one thing to note is that Simeon is sort of let out so that he can have a face-to-face with Mr. Swan. The door opens, then a pathway out is shown. And I believe there's some black mages here as well. And Simeon's like, "Why are you doing this?" And they don't respond because they're kind of like, "Don't want to die." Which, I mean, to be fair, they're doing what we're doing essentially. We've got to do the thing, or we'll die. However, upon his release, it is revealed that, hey, someone else is in here. Someone that Mr. Swan overlooked. Someone who may or may not be a Forg. There's a little Forg in there. And so when Simeon was released, the Forg is also released. And no one really notices, because they're a frog. So they're now, the king is now sort of free to do stuff. However, we will follow Simeon for the moment. And Simeon has a face-to-face with Mr. Swan. Is it worth drawing it? Not really, because they basically just have the conversation I just told you. But, well, I guess he explains. Let me draw Mr. Swan, because it's, you know, he's basically our villain for this side of the story. We might as well get used to seeing him again and get me used to drawing him again. I keep drawing him too similar to Simeon, so let's... But yes, he likes to wax poetic about things and be just very glorifying in his own evil. He's so evil, did you know that? Oh. Very eloquent in a way that I can't do from memory. Big mood. It's the issue with the draw-through is I can't really do things verbatim. Can't properly give you an idea as to how this person sounds because they speak in a very flowery language, and hopefully you get a gist from the way I draw them, but it's hard, you know? They're also very much in the loincloth and bare legs camp with March. Mr. Swan and March exchanged a few fashion tips. I can't remember what I was wearing up here, so I'm going to give him a little waistcoat. They're showing off a lot of skin, yes. But they do have this big billowy sort of... It's not a skirt, I don't know what you call it. I guess it is a skirt, it's just sort of open at the front. That's the sort of most clothing they have, I think. I'd be wrong. And Simeon's obviously not happy about this whole situation. But there's not an awful lot he can do about it, because his friends will get lavaed if he doesn't do what Mr. Swan says. And what Mr. Swan says is he wants him to go to a ruin somewhere on a continent that is thoroughly unexplored. You thought the last one was a dark, boring desert. Just talked about their boots leggings go higher than you thought. Only up to mid-thigh, so the crotch is still very much on display, but yeah, okay. Thigh-high boots. Thigh-high boots, but exposed thighs. It's a look. It's a look I'm sure Moggs would appreciate. Iconic. He's got style, this boy. He also wears feathers in his hair, which may possibly be where I used to have the penchant for sticking feathers in a hat or hair when I was younger. Forgot about that till just now. Yangi. Just while I remember, speaking of sort of copying things, there's just a random observation that I made relatively recently that I keep meaning to sort of point out as a random conversation topic on stream. There's a couple of things what are interesting, what people do. And they happen to a more or lesser extent in any given individual, called the echolalia and echopraxia. And echolalia is when you're talking to somebody, or when you are watching someone on TV or whatever. It's when you have, subconsciously, you start speaking like that person. You start affecting the mannerisms of their speech and their accent and the sort of words that they use and all that sort of stuff. But there's also echopraxia, which is that when you're speaking to somebody or watching someone on TV or a film, you start copying the way they move, the way they behave, the sort of mannerisms and accents and all that sort of mannerisms and movements and all these sorts of things. Raises guilty hand. Yeah, it's just the thing. Like, some people have it to a more or lesser extent. It's kind of an interesting thing. And I don't really have the Echo Lalia, because you've heard my accents, but but echopraxia, that is something that I do. If there's a character on a thing that I really, really like, I'll find myself sort of moving more like them, and I started doddering about an awful lot more after watching lots of Columbo clips. You know, this sort of thing. But yeah, it was just wondered if anyone else did it. Apparently, yeah. Columbo good. It's not good for my posture. So yeah, next time I meet friends, I'm gonna have to watch some things with good posture, like the Avengers or something. So yeah, echopraxia and echolalia. There's a couple of interesting little things. And yeah, I came up with this little idea, again, because I was watching a lot of Columbo. Which was, you know how like every detective thing nowadays, like the detective has some sort of weird quirk, and that helps them solve the crime. I like the idea of a detective that has like really like strong echopraxia, that they just sort of copy the mannerisms and movements of just people in conversation. And as a consequence, they pick up on little like physical sort of movements that feel a bit strange. It's like that person was hiding something in their hand, or that person put something in their pocket while someone wasn't listening, because I could feel them doing it. And for the Royal Air Force, subtle as a brick through a window, Twitch. Did you find yourself copying other people? Then copy these soldiers. Join today. Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to have a detective who was like, you know, constantly sort of mimicking people without realizing, and just noticing clues that other people didn't, because they were like, that felt weird. Why did they do that? And that's as far as I thought. But it was just a conversation topic, so. Because if there's one thing that we need in draw-throughs, it's something to talk about while I'm just drawing. Hydrate, everybody. Right, so. I don't think his hair's quite that long. I think it comes forwards as well, like that. Anyway. So yes. Mr. Swan is informing us that we need to go to a strange place on a continent that nobody's really explored, because it's above like sea level. We can't get there to a boat. Like, it's got big cliffs all around it. It's not very hospitable, big old desert place, but there's something there. And that something there is very magic phobic. Like, you can't use magic in or around it. And Mr. Swan's whole deal is magic. His Black Mage Army's deal is magic. He can't really do much there, so he's going to need people who resort to more primitive means of combat. And thus says, get the four of you who don't understand anything as intelligent as magic together, and you need to go to a continent and get a MacGuffin for me, please. Thank you very much. It's pretty long, yeah, mostly in the back. Cool. Pretty long. Got it. So yeah, we get to decide who of our 8 characters, those being Simeon, Vivi, James, Butterknife, Betty, Knuckles, Nox, and Quimch. How can I forget Quimch? Which of those 4 would be most suited to go to an island in which magic is impossible? Simeon is demanded to go, which is why he is saved from potential doom. Probably should choose the strongest physical fighters, because he isn't lying, you really cannot use any magic there. We've got Quimch, we've got James. I think he has like fabric flowy stuff going on up top as well. Probably should do Knuckles too. Who else doesn't use magic? Yeah, if we want to be sensible, Nox is a kind of half and half. Quimch is a half and half. Yeah, Quimch is the things that Quimch learns to do by eating things is magic. So, but Quimch can also just still eat things and stab them with a fork, so they're not useless. Love Luna's new thing is just drooling all over you. No. Yeah, you got Knuckles, who has knuckles and punches things. Does have magic, but it's mostly just generally supportive stuff. Let Quimch eat things. Yes. Half and half, mate. Half and half, mate. Quimch should go to the continent. You're having a barrel of laughs, ain't ya? Sorry, Miss No having a thing. Everybody go and watch Outside Xbox play the Dracula game. Yeah, Vivi, Butterknife, and Betty, they're just pure magic. The two summoners and a black mage, they're not going to be useful in a physical place. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not, like... this isn't going to affect the story. But it will affect the things I draw. So... for the purposes of playing this game, this is a decision you need to make for the purposes of a Drawthrough. You want Nox? We can do Nox. So what was that? Nox, James, and Quimch? Nox is cool. Cool. So, Nox, James, and Quimch go off on a thing. And Simeon. And they are sent... like I say, they have the little conversation with the black mages of like, why are you doing this? And they don't say anything because they're ashamed. And we are sent to a little air hangar thing, or a little hangar path that winds down and around, and we see a big old airship. What we are heading to, I don't know what it looks like. I imagine it's a dirigible. Simeon's there by default, unfortunately. Simeon's there too, I guess. No joke, that's almost the same party you had when you did this. Nice. I think, what did I do? I had Knuckles, James, Simeon, and... I think it was Nox, yeah. So I left Quimch behind, but for reasons which will become apparent. Because I knew where the story was going. But if you were just making a decision, that's, you know, blindly. Yeah, so there's this big old, and it's very sleek, and it has lots of cool sort of designs on it. It's very, you know, this ain't something cobbled together in, you know, the back end of nowhere in a desert. This is filigree and ornaments and all this sort of stuff. And our characters embarking on this ship remark that, hey, isn't that the ship what the Queen ran away with? The one that flies without mist? Makes sense, there's no mist, and we're going to be flying on this thing, so... unless what's-his-face made his own, Mr. Swan. And he doesn't really seem like the one to make things himself. He seems like the one to get other people to make things and then steal them. So yeah, that's a bit weird. Why would Mr. Swan have the airship that belonged to the Queen after she stole it? Is the Queen in cahoots with Mr. Swan? What's going on here? Suspicions! Which also leads me to another of my favourite lines in the game, but we'll get to that. Anyway, there's the... I think we call it the... Yes, it's because this was named after the Queen, who I think we called Queen Girl Boss. I've now just remembered. So I guess this is the Girl Boss 1. The Queen isn't on it. It is staffed by black mages who are doing their thing silently. Although now we know that they can speak and they do understand, but they're just staying quiet. And Simeon's like, why don't you talk to me? Come on, look, together we could overthrow this swan guy. We could take the ship and we could do stuff. You know he's lying to you, right? You know he doesn't actually know how to extend your life. He's just saying that so that he has an army. And they don't say anything. To be fair, we don't actually know that. He might know. He might know a way. He made these, basically. I shouldn't use this angle of hat because I reserve that for Vivi. So I was about to say Kiki. Kiki and her hat. So yeah, they're on the ship, running it and pulling levers and stuff. Which is funny enough, the first time we saw them, they were on a ship pulling levers. Well, the first time we saw them doing anything, they were on a ship. Does this scene change if you have Vivi in your party? I don't know. I don't think anyone's taken Vivi. Kiki deserves a hat. Let Kiki have a hat. Fun thing that's happened with Kiki over the last week or so, which is kind of interesting. I think she's gotten like jealous or something about us playing with Long Boy, Gremlin. And she started like wanting to play herself, which is the first time that she's wanted to play with anything for like years. So she's got a little bit of kitten back in her now, which is very adorable. Simeon is... I've forgotten how much I dislike drawing Simeon. Play with your lady, yeah, let her bite you. She did, don't worry. Accidentally took Vivi because you were tired and have a massive brain fart during this and completely forgot about the no magic thing. That is a good reason to take Vivi. I think you asked them why they're doing this and they have no answer for it. No. Or Vivi. I didn't know if they added something deliberate for that eventuality. I guess they did. Anyway, I don't know how many times I need to draw Simeon standing in this pose, but there's a reason I'm doing it. I'm not just doing it randomly. And that is because we weren't, we weren't just entrusted this thing ourselves. We weren't just stuck on this with a bunch of black mages who might defect again. That's a silly idea. Simeon has had like 4 different body structures in this one stream. Always just want to have Vivi in the party. Why wouldn't you? Vivi's great. Vivi and Kumch. They're good. But anyway, it turns out that Mr. Swan has a couple of lieutenants that are checking on us while we're doing this thing. That's right, it's frickin' frack. They found another job, now that the Queen's dead. And I've forgotten how to draw them. How are you bastards doing? And they take a good amount of glee in essentially being in charge of your fates. But yeah, so they're in charge of making sure that we go and do the thing, and they're working for Mr. Swan now. Relatives of Cuthbert, similar jangles. We'll get to that. Don't worry about it. Don't actually remember if they have bells on the end of it. They probably do. Also on their resume, they keep getting these jobs. Evil mischief makers who know stuff about magic. Because they were the ones in charge of extracting the eidolons from Butterknife, if you recall. So their whole thing is quite magical as well. So it makes sense that they're on the sort of evil magic side. And it also makes sense as to why they can't do this job as well. Because every single friend that, or ally, I guess, that Mr. Swan makes is magic. Which is something I've never actually thought about until this draw-through. It's like, oh, actually, do you know what? As a plot point, that does work. So yeah, they're here, and they're lording it over you. And also pointing out that, they're not going to speak to you. They're under our control now. They're too afraid of dying. Haha, fools. Yeah, it does make sense. Something in the latter half of Final Fantasy IX making sense. Who'd have thought? Did surround himself with magical minions, and his whole deal's also magic. It's a limitation. So yes, so they're on board the thing, and they're now working for Mr. Swan. Jingle and jongle. But anyway, they just they drop us off on the wrong side of the continent, so we have to walk all the way across it. But eventually we make our way there. They're not coming with us to the no magic place. They're literally just sticking us on the thing, and then they're like, "Come back when you got it." We can't go anywhere here. This is an isolated continent surrounded by cliffs. We can't get off this place. There's no like civilization here or anything. No life other than monsters. So yeah, no other way to get to the continent other than by airship, and they have the only airship now. So yeah, they drop us off pretty far from the actual place, but they drop us off next to chocobo tracks, so you can get a chocobo if you want and just run all the way to the end. And I've now thought of something that is silly, so I will draw it. Ah, frickin' frack. Get Bob! Here! Achievements. It's an area where you really want the auto-float ability. There are so many enemies and lots of earthquakes. Remember your brother getting frustrated here because all the enemies encounters and earthquakes. So you come here with auto-float on everyone and you muscle your way through. So the problem with that is that I'm playing... My playthrough, I'm actually playing a randomizer. So all of the enemies have random attacks and I have random abilities. So I forget about these things, but good to know. I will also draw an enemy that's in this area because it's interesting. It's always stood out to me as like, I'll tell you its name before I draw it. It's called Armstrong. Now I want you to imagine, what do you think something called Armstrong looks like? Big legs. Couldn't be further from the truth. You got lucky with Bob. But you were further off with that. Little baby arms also couldn't be further from the truth. Although for different reasons. Kitten, balloon. Okay, I'm gonna draw an approximation of it from memory. So we start with a house. I think it's got like a little weather vane or something. Start with a house. You have a massive cannon coming out of the front of it. Maybe like a little planter or something. Made of wood. This isn't like a... Well. I say it's not a living thing. I don't... Not sure about that. And then you like put it on lots of little legs. They just sort of wobble around, not really being able to balance properly. And this is called Armstrong. Basically like that, I think. Is there anything I'm missing? Feels taller than this. Something like that. He said no magic. This thing isn't magic, it's chaos. Pure chaos. Yeah, there is Hell House in FF7, but that's like a machine, which makes a bit more sense. I don't know what this is. Do I have concepts out of it? There's a question. I do. Ooh, looks cool. Why is there a fish on it? Also, they look like horse legs. I like the cat weather vane. It's nice. I like the design. I just don't know what it is. Which explains nothing. It's got curtains and everything. Fantasy. Some fun enemies in this game. I just wanted to show that off because it's like it always stands out to me as like what? I might have a house moving castle vibe to it. That looks neat. Fun design. I like that I remembered the weather vane, but not the massive fish. Then again, you would expect to see a weather vane on a house, not a massive fish. Oh, it flies. Yeah, it's fun. Glad you focused on the on the explains nothing comment and ignored where you said the legs are cat's legs and it's actually 4 cats. Oh, right. I missed that. Oh, you googled that. Okay. The legs are cat's legs and there are 4 cats holding Armstrong up. What? So there are just 4 cats in there. Hey, miss, you like this, right? It's called cats. 4 cats in a house. This feels very fairy tale, doesn't it? Yeah, this is what I like about JRPG enemy designs, because you could just do whatever the hell you want. Why not? Why not have 4 cats holding up a house with a cannon in it? Why not? Maybe, I guess that's why they got a giant fish on the side. That's their food. See, it all makes sense. Yeah, support their business venture. The Armstrong Cannoneering Company. Legstrong, it should be called. Anyway. So we go to this place. Are they related to Kate Sith? Maybe. Well, Kate Sith... Okay. Here's something that's never really been explained to me. I guess Kate Sith is... Like, Kate Sith is the cat on top of the big animatronic Moogle. But is the cat animatronic as well? Right? I think, yeah, the cat is a robot. Okay, yeah. So they're both robots. Which makes sense, because he's being controlled by... spoilers. But... Didn't know that. Yeah, it's a big robot. Can't remember his name. Spoilers. Remake. People don't know things. Zero context. The context is very straightforward, which is that there's a kid in Alexandria who's lost his cat, and you have to find the cat, and that's where they are. And then you reunite them with the cat. And I think you get given some cool cards as a reward. And that is the statue there. That's the statue of Quimch. What I drew. Also, you can see in there one of my favourite NPC designs in the game, which I can get good concept art of. Where are you? I've probably shown this off several times because I just really like it. But I need to find it first. Can't show something off if you can't show it. Now, where are you? I want to show good things. Ooh. Ooh, my inability to see. There they are. Look at them. Majestic. Big fan of the shapes in this. Capybara? I don't know. Big hamster? No one knows. Is there a fish man in the background? Does look like it, doesn't it? Do I have fish man up? This is the thing, there's so much attention to detail in the characters of this game. That's what made me sort of fall in love with it recently. That's why I came up with Avonville. I want that, I want more of that. And then I didn't do anything else with Avonville. I can't find concept art for fish, which is a shame. Ooh. Is FF9 a Cthulhu game? I wanted to say we'll get to that as a joke, but I honestly don't know. I don't think we can. I don't think that's one we can spin. What are we doing? We're going to Oilervert. Or Oilerver? How do you pronounce this? Kira, how would you pronounce it? The Building of Spirals. Ah, and there's some stuff to draw in here. Okay. So we're going to do a few little vignettes of things we find. Oil vert. I think it's probably like Walave or something. It's based on like, for some reason, I don't know why. It means like green eyes in French, or it's like a contraction of green eyes in French. Which is why my version of the song that plays in it, I called the Hogan Ruins, because it's like Hun and Ochen.
Aelvet.
Aelvet. We're going to Aelvet. Yeah, so that's how you spell it. And it's pronounced Aelvet. So we're going to Aelvet. Again, I don't know why it's called Green Eyes. I don't think that has any bearing on anything. Yeah, at the very least, I wouldn't pronounce the T. Oilver. Walave. Hazel flawless. Cool. Aelvet. Right. So we go to Aelvet, and it's like in this. Yeah, I'll just do a few small doodles as to what's going on here. We're in this sort of like valley of cliffs.
Ute.
And it's this sort of big old structure, and it's got like big doors on the front of it, and those doors have sort of fun spiral patterns. It's very big on spirals, this place. Lots and lots of spirals that sort of look like shells of things. And it's held up by 4 cats, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we go into this place, and there's like a big old hall sort of in the main area, and everything looks very weird. Like the architecture feels very like alien and strange. Not extraordinarily dissimilar from the stuff that we saw inside the tree. That was all weird. Very sort of organic shapes rather than sort of, you know, wood or brick or stone or anything like that. Looked up some of the art of the place because you wanted to double check the name and Googled it, and you forgot about some of this stuff. Yeah, there's some stuff happens here. There's this like huge sort of glowing window in the back, which looks really pretty, and it's got the big spiral pattern in the middle. And it's like glowing orange. It's a neat looking place. It's real weird. It's almost Giga-ish in a strange way, but not disgustingly so. Just the sort of general shapes and the feel of the sort of construction of it. Yeah, odd place. It doesn't feel quite like anywhere else apart from the tree, maybe. Anyway, we wander around this place and we find a few things. Is my color fade working? Yes, I'm just very zoomed in. So if I go down, it's blue now. By the way, if you're not sure of how I'm doing this, it's very straightforward. I just have a gradient thing, and I'm just clipping it to the folder in which I'm doing all these drawings. So yeah, we're at the top. I'm just doing a couple of little doodles of this place because there's a bunch of stuff that happens in here, and it's nice to sort of just do a little bit of each. We go into a room. I think actually this drawing gets the vibe of this quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, we go into a room and there's a bunch of little plinths that are they're strange, sort of almost like sort of organic holes in the ground. strange sort of thing. And there are 6 of them, and as we go up to them, some of them don't do anything, but if you interact with them in the right order, they start showing, like, for want of a better word, holograms of ships, of like airships and things, but like really weirdly designed airships. And the last one that you can activate shows you an airship which is labeled, I believe it's called the Invincible, if I'm not entirely mistaken. They all have names. I can't remember what they are. I remember the Invincible. That's about it. Sounds right, yeah. And that was supposedly the last one. In what series, I don't know, but supposedly the last one. And yeah, there's no real explanation as to what any of this means. So it's just a weird room with some stuff to interact with. But if you thought that room was weird... who was here again? There was Quimch. Nox, I believe. James. Two tails. You have a score of 2 tails out of 4. Quimch, James, and Noxie. Oh yeah, and we have our... Quimch's eyes follow you around the room thing. A rat, a monkey, a fungus, and a human knight. Walk into a bar. And on next week's stream, the punchline to that joke. Anyway, so you walk into this room and you sort of walk on a platform and it floats up a bit. Standard fantasy, nothing weird here. Until you realize that the wall is, or the room is sort of spherical. At the moment, it looks like I'm throwing something out of Doctor Who, but... So the room that made you go, oh god, I forgot about this place. Yeah, it's a thing. Because this room is spherical, yes, but also the room is entirely lined with weird faces. Like masks. some of which are sort of broken. And these things are huge. Like, they're bigger than you. That one's winking. Etc., etc. And what happens is that as you walk in and this plinth rises up, one of the faces on the walls go ka-chunk outwards and starts talking to you in just like a weird garbled language. You leave for 5 minutes and come back to Return of Oz. I mean, pretty much. This is a real weird room. And it just goes... And we're like, what the hell are you talking about? And then it goes chunk back into the wall. And then another one pops out and goes chunk. It's like analyzing language. Okay, we can speak to you now. And then it says a bunch of stuff. The room, like face by face, starts talking to you. And talks about like an arc and survival and trying to a species trying to survive. Yeah, they glow red or orange when they talk to you. And a species trying to survive like the catastrophe and like dying planets. They're saying real weird stuff. This is a weird miss. Yeah, big lore dump. Not a lot of it makes sense, and I can't remember exactly how much of it is said right now, but it's all like, you know, talking about like trying to manufacture refuge from the destruction of a planet or something. Just real weird. It just tells you this for some reason, and that this is like a knowledge repository. And then it stops, and then you leave. It's like, what? What was that? What was that all about? Then you find another plinth. And this might be what I leave you with. What in the Sixth Doctor is this, miss? What in Colin Baker's design wardrobe department is this? But yeah, so you find another plinth which you activate after you've done stuff. Return to Oz. The Wheelers. I'll take you wheeled for it. You activate another plinth, which activates another hologram. Miss is distracting me with weird things. Beware the Wheelers. I will do, miss. Also, who's that girl? She looks familiar. You'll stop. No, it's fine. Sorry, you activate a plinth. And the plinth shows you some stuff. And it shows you the planet. Gaia. Well, this is the planet what we are on. Here's like the Mist Continent down here, and then up here is the continent with the Black Mages and Mr. Swan's hideout and all that sort of stuff, and then over here is the weird continent that we're on at the moment, and then there's some like pole stuff going on up here, and over here is a small little island with the god of the chocobos on it. And here is the shadow of a flying chocobo island. None of these things I'll talk about because they're not compulsory to complete the game. And here's the Gero. This is not accurate. I don't know where things are on relation on a globe. But anywho, this is Gaia. This is the planet what we are on. This isn't. This, the hologram says, is Terra, a different planet. And then the holograms, they go smoosh, and then they kiss. They smooch. And by smooch, I mean they sort of merge. Oh, I've seen that. That's a fun design. He's cute. And that's what we learn from this place. We also get a MacGuffin, but we'll do that at the start of the next stream. TikTok, what? TikTok's much friendlier than I'm led to believe. What does this have to do with anything? What number's the fact, Kira? The world's smooch. This place is just weird, right? The first time you come here, you're like, what is any of this? What is happening? And then they lay a moon egg. I don't believe the moon is involved. Is there a moon? Probably. Oh yeah, of course there's a moon. Quimch tried to eat its reflection. That's the only reason I know there's a moon in this game. Thank you, Quimch. You're teaching us astronomy. The moon is an egg. No, it's not. Well, it might be in this game, I don't know. Moon is an egg. Quimch tried to eat it and was right. Okay, I'll go with that. Quimch learns the supernova ability by eating the moon. Why not? Also, these are very thin drawings. Let me just thicken those up a bit so we can see them. Yay! So that's that. That's our return to Oz / this place. Something you just realised where you were talking about the lore dump and stuff has been forgotten by time. This continent is literally called the Forgotten Continent. There we go. Oh, there is one other thing that we do see while we're on the continent. Well, you probably see when you're on the continent. Which is that there's a weird castle in like a valley, but you can't get to it because it's just surrounded by cliffs. So it's like indented into the thing. We won't go there. Obviously. Why would you put a castle in a game and then go there? That'd be silly. Why do we do this for Mr. Swan again? Because he wants us to get a MacGuffin, which we will do at the beginning of next stream. Yeah, he wants us to get... I can't even remember what it's called. Or what it does. A MacGuffin. He wants a MacGuffin. Yeah, but why? Because this place nullifies all magic. So you can't use magic here, and him and all of his army compatriots, etc., use magic. So he needed somebody who didn't use magic to fight their way into this place. There's loads of enemies around here, like Armstrong, and also Epitaph, who is like a big old... Well, let me draw a Epitaph. Epitaph is a statue. with holding on to like a big old tombstone. But the tombstone opens when the fight starts, and a doppelganger comes out of one of your characters, and they're like, "I'm the real one," and then they cast death on the real character. Yeah, he's blackmailing. Yeah, the reason we came here is because he would kill our friends who were back at the thing if we didn't. Why didn't we just kill him? Because he will kill our friends back at the thing if you know, if there's a fail-safe or something. If he dies, then all the friends will fall into pits of lava because they're in individual prisons and we can't get them out. Do you want Vivi to die? Vivi's in prison, hanging over lava. Do you remember when I said that half of our party is at risk of dying? It's the half we left behind. And we will learn more about that next time. Anyway. We'll get to that. It'll be addressed straight away. Reload alt save. It probably would have made sense to finish off this area, but I can't be bothered to draw the boss. But yeah. I hope you're enjoying where this story is going. We've started scratching the surface of it now. I need to update this quite a lot because it says Sherlock Holmes and spooks on Tuesdays and spooks on Wednesdays. I mean, this is kind of spooky. There's lots of faces on the wall. Feels weird to just suddenly do a fetch quest for the villain. If you're looking for reasons that things are happening, you are not in the right part of this game. We said that the motivation and focus of this game goes downhill after the death of Queen Helga, and we were not lying. Yeah, we're doing it to save the lives of our friends because he set up a MacGuffin trap. We could have just gone and found this ourselves, I guess, but yeah. This one is wearing the thigh-highs of plot convenience. Yes, the thigh-high boots of plot convenience. It's also got the feathers of plot convenience. There's going to be some plot convenience happening. But yeah, he wants a MacGuffin that's here because it's important to whatever his plan is. And we're going to get it for him. And then he will release us and our friends and everything will be fine. Yee. Well, I hope you enjoyed Cheeb's the beginning of Cheeb's descent into madness over this plot. Oh, look, they're there. There's Cheeb being slammed in the back of the head by Mr. Swan. Because Mr. Swan has thus far shown us to be a very reasonable person who has never committed a crime. Mr. Swan's done nothing. Other things that Mr. Swan has some sort of interaction with or control over have done a lot of things, but Mr. Swan himself, free of any responsibility. But yes, we shall learn more about that next week. Next week. Not next week, just next week. But we'll be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow morning to probably carry on a little bit with Zig. I made some exciting discoveries with Blender today, which is that I can use a controller to control things in Blender, which means that I can like do facial animations and things like that using a controller, like in real time. So I'm experimenting with that. There might also be a way for me to use like VR to sort of virtual puppet things. We'll see. Just because he happens to control the Eye of Genocide doesn't mean he committed the genocide. I mean, yeah, basically. The Eye of Genocide. Oh, dear. Righty ho. I hope you had a lovely time, everybody. It's weird doing a stream that's only 2 hours long, but this is the normal length of a stream. Do you remember that? Do you remember having streams 2 hours long? Good time. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning to do some zigging, and then maybe we'll do maybe we'll start Hercule and just use that as a start for here's how you do things in Blender. And then tomorrow evening there'll be Jeebs. Jeeb will be, and hopefully while they will be streaming, because that's always a lovely time. And then Saturday streams in mornings. You'll be! Hooray! Yeah, Saturday morning, continuing doing whatever streams. Maybe we'll do something special Saturday morning. Maybe we'll do Fool's AU or something. Try and come up with an idea. And Saturday evening will be Valheim with friends. Sunday, Doodle Times. Tuesday, more Costume Quest. And Wednesday, back to this. So yes, and the music finished. What a good timing. Oh no, it didn't finish. We have something else. Fool's AU. I don't know what will Fool's AU, but I'll think about that. So yeah. Thanks for being here. Oh, I have it set so that it loops the playlist. That's a clever idea. Why didn't I do that before? Yeah, have a lovely time, everybody. Thanks for being here. And yeah, stay chill, look after yourselves, don't fall into pits of lava, and support any collection of 4 cats under a house that you can. Bye bye bye.